Season 13 introduced Rank Reloaded, which is quite possibly the toughest rank system ever to level up in. So if you guys are struggling on Stormpoint in this first split, this video is a must watch because I'm going to share 5 of my absolute most important tips to gaining consistent RP in Season 13. Alright, so tip number 1 today is going to be using a Recon Legend to gain intel on the next zone location, and this is going to be absolutely crucial. If you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, you're probably new to the game, but there are these little beacons around the map that will tell you the next zone location if you scan them with a Recon Legend, such as Bloodhound, Pathfinder, Seer, Crypto, and Valkyrie. So there's only 5 legends that can do this. I would recommend having one of these legends on your team. And also, a little side note, not going to really go into this too much in depth, but I will talk about it for a second here. Do not solo queue this season. This season is the worst system by far for solo queuers. I'll tell you exactly why. It rewards late placement over kills in the long run. So what this means is your whole team is going to have to survive until that end zone. If you get some random teammates that aren't on board with that or want to push fights early and end up going down, you are going to struggle tremendously. You are going to lose RP day in and day out if you are solo queuing. So I would highly recommend not doing that, but if you're going to do it anyways, I wish you the best of luck and try to stay alive as long as possible. Don't go for that early KP unless you are very confident you can win the fight. All right, so circling back to my first point, which was going to be scanning the beacons with one of those 5 characters. After you do so, I would take a look at your map and immediately move to the next zone, or what could possibly be the final zone. Now what this is going to do is it's going to help you from getting held out of zone, which means you're going to be taking storm damage and trying to move into zone while a team is basically gatekeeping you on the edge, and this is just a disaster. You're going to get more used to zone rotations as time goes on. You're going to see where a zone is because there's only so many in the game, and after you've played so many ranked games day in and day out, you're going to realize that you're going to see some of the same zones over and over and over. And once this happens, you can realize very early within the first couple of beacon scans where exactly the end zone is going to be, and it's going to put you in a way better spot to end up having great positioning at the end of the game and ultimately end up holding everybody out of that final zone and winning the game. So now that you have implanted in your brain that you need to rotate early, you're going to need to land at a location that is non-contested, because like I said earlier, KP is way more important later on in the game, so you really don't want to be 50ing locations if you don't have to. But let's say you do have to 50-50 a location where you and another team are landing at the same spot off drop. You want there to be enough loot for both of your teams. So if you're going to 50 a spot, do not make it some house all the way on the edge of the map where 2 teams are going to it for absolutely no reason, because you're going to be fighting with your fist or a Mozambique. You do not want that to happen. So in this case, I would land at a more populated place like Cascade Falls or Barometer so that you know that there's enough loot. Also, you want to cut off the other team's loot, if that makes sense. So if you're landing in a big location with a lot of loot in it, you want to land as close to the enemy as possible without engaging that enemy to steal most of that loot, so the other team has worse loot than you, if that makes sense. All right, so the next tip is going to be having a short and long range weapon in your arsenal at all times, if that's possible, because as we all know, Stormpoint is a massive map. So you're gonna want to rotate early, like I said, and you're going to want to scan the beacons. Then once you've done that, and hopefully you can find the final zone at this point, you're going to want to hold all the teams out, and you're not going to want to let them get super close to you. That's the whole point of this. You want to either have a sniper, maybe a wingman, something that can shoot them from a long range, and then you're going to want to have an SMG or a shotgun for if they do end up getting close to you. That's inevitable at some point, but hold as many teams out as humanly possible, and then once they get close to you, swap over that short range weapon and then let it go to work. But you don't want to be a one-trick pony, and you don't want to let enemies, you know, just encroach in your space while you have 2 SMGs. Makes absolutely no sense for Stormpoint. Might work on World's Edge, but not Stormpoint. Last tip is not getting impatient, especially on this map in the first split. It's super sweaty when you get up to the higher ranks. If you have a good position in zone, I've noticed a lot of teams do this, and I've done it even a couple times myself. I gotta work on this for sure. Do not get impatient. If you are in that final zone, do not move for kills, because the kills will come to you eventually. I'm telling you, you're gonna get that KP. Even if you're sitting top 5 squads with 0 KP, you will get it at the end of the game. And even if you don't get max, even if you get like 3 or 4, the win is so much more important to gaining you RP, because if you push out, you end up dying and you know, end up with 0 KP and you don't get the win, then was it really worth it? Because you're going to end up losing points anyways. So now what I want to do, instead of showing you an entire gameplay, I'm basically going to go over some scenarios that I thought were interesting, and I'm going to break them down with you guys so that you understand certain situations. We have some platinum gameplay, I believe, today, and maybe some diamond situations. I'm not too sure what I'm going to add in yet, but hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of this video. And if you enjoyed the tips already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. All right, let's get into it. All right, so I figured it would be better off if we did one entire gameplay that we went over instead of multiple scenarios, because you're going to be jumping all over the place. You're not really going to know what's happening. But if I keep it in one, then we should be good to go, and you should get a feel for how these lobbies actually play out. This is, as you can see, in Platinum 1 when the split first reset. So a lot of these players are actually better than their rank will show. But nonetheless, we are landing at Stormcatcher, and you guys can see this team over here in the area that we scanned with our Valkyrie. Thank God we have one, because like I said earlier, a scanning legend is always crucial. We see these guys in the air, and they actually decide to contest us, and it works out a little better than it actually should have. In most situations, you know, you're gonna find a gun right off the jump and smoke these guys that are well behind you. And if you're in these guys' situation, you don't want to be landing on a team super late. You guys can see up on the map here and right here, they are well behind us, and if one of us lands on a gun right away, they're gonna get absolutely demolished. But instead, we end up landing here. I should have landed at the bins now that I look back on it, but I decided to land in the doorway because usually there's a weapon in that doorway. Unfortunately, for my case, there was not. Stormcatcher is a spot with enough loot for 2 teams, but it's pushing it. It's absolutely pushing it. So head over this way. I see an enemy, gets the weapon before I did. But thankfully, we got a shield swap over here to, you know, relieve my stress a little bit. So you guys can see right there, my teammate Ramsey gets a knock with that Spitfire. If you're using the Spitfire this season, you know what? No regrets, right? Just use the thing. We're in ranked. The ranked lobbies are sweaty. Might as well use it. But he gets a great knock to start off this fight. And I'm over here still looking for a gun. Finally, get my hands on an Arc Star and a P20, so it's time to help the boys out a little bit and do a little damage. So we're pushing this Wraith. We got a 2-on-1 over here. I head over. Bam! 5 damage. You know what? I can't take all the credit, but I'll take all the credit. Okay, I did all the work there. I'm not gonna complain about it. I could have obviously done more work. We need a new weapon. I'm gonna finish this guy off. Hopefully grab a gun, and we find an alternator to continue this game with. Ramsey's over there getting the finish, and he ends up killing the last person on the team. That squad is wiped. We don't have to worry about them anymore. But you guys can see quickly, I'm over here looking around for a third party, because there is a lot of times, especially on Storm Point, if you fight early game, the third parties will come out of absolutely nowhere. I've had multiple times where enemies will land on my head with a cannon or with a Valkyrie. It does not matter. There is teams lurking all around, and if they hear any gunshots, they are going to be running to you. All right, so after doing a little bit of running around, you know, I'm going to grab these crafting materials, hit the bin real quick. I noticed that there is something strange over to my left, to the west. I see a door open, and I decide, you know what, it's probably better if they don't see me. So what I'm gonna do is kind of sit on the zip line. I know it's a little bit ratty, but we're sitting on the zip line waiting for this enemy to come over so we can secure a kill. I'm gonna pause it quickly. A lot of people in ranked will run away if they're not in a good position to fight. So this is a way where, you know, I don't do this often. Okay, I don't recommend doing this, but you know, sometimes it's better to get that first knock, then you can force an engagement if you would like. That's exactly what me and my teammate did here. We waited till this guy was coming up the zip line. As you can see, it's shaking, and then we're just gonna pop out and get the easy knock on him, which is huge. His teammate's gonna have to turn around, and then we're full force into this fight over here. Get the finish. So I'm gonna snag the wingman in the flat line, and if I'm in their shoes right now, I would have probably ran away. I'm not gonna lie. I would have got the banner later on or something, because this is a bad situation that they're in. They have 3 people coming at them, although Lurksy is way ahead of us. So if they had just focused Lurksy, they might have had a chance in this fight. Instead, they don't knock him. They don't do any damage to him, actually. So we're over here pushing full force. Ramsey's taking shots, Lurk's taking shots, I'm throwing grenades through the window, you know, acting like I'm doing something. Gotta be hitting those wingman shots. Gotta be hitting those wingman shots right there, Sweat. Come on now. But 3v1, I'm pushing this guy full force. I don't even care. If I went down there, the boys would have got me up. But in a lot of other scenarios, situations, that wouldn't be good because you don't want anybody on your team to go down, especially in the high rank lobbies. If somebody is taking a look at the kill feed, and they are, trust me, they are, they'll know when one of your teammates is knocked, and they're going to use that opportunity to push. All right, so right after that engagement, we're taking a seat on the roof here. We're kind of just chilling out a little bit. Remzi spots a team coming in. I should have spotted them as well. A team is flying in on us, and I thought they were going to land on the roof, but instead they decide to land on his door. Actually, a brilliant play by them. So I decided to go up. I'm pushing. I need to give him some cover. They focused him out, which was a good play on their part. Unfortunately, Ryzen ult sucks them in. We get a counter knock, which is huge. But that Sheila is brutal. You do not want to go up against that Sheila. And they got the Bangalore smoke down. I could not see him, so I decided not to peek for a little bit here. Psych! I went in full force. Hit him for 39. And they jump on me. Gets the knock on the rampart. Reloading. Looking for the last knock on the other guy, but it's better that I don't go down in this situation. So I stay back. Let my teammate clean it up. Shield swap quick and go up for the res. Now, you guys really thought I was going to sit back and not peek that rampart? Come on, guys. The smarter play would have been to not peek that rampart, but I didn't do that. We got to learn from our mistakes here. Look at this guy copying me. Sweaty McGee over here. What an absolute sin. Those guys got put down. So 4 kills, 12 squads left. In all reality, we are looking absolutely good to rotate into end zone. These two legends that I was playing with here did not feel the same way. So we went around, you know, just shooting everybody in the lobby. But obviously, this would be the time that you want to scan that beacon, rotate to end zone, and play it safe. So lucky enough for us, right after we end up getting Remzi up, we head back down. I'm looting the boxes, getting my shield back, batting up, whatever the case may be. There is another team on top of us, so decide to lift up. We got to fight it all at once. That's exactly what we're about to do. Toss the lift, head up to the roof here. End up getting some beautiful shots off on the Valkyrie. See, we hit the wingman shots right there, and then we miss a whole entire mag. But right now, you guys can see we have 2 people down on this team. It's a 3v1. You already know we're pushing this last guy with everything we got. Remzi's over here, Newcastle ulting on this guy. This poor guy. And as he goes down, that is the entire squad. We got 8 squads remaining. We are in a great spot right now. We're positive RP, which is very tough to do this season unless you're in the final couple of zones. But we want to win this game. We do not want to come second, third, fourth. You know what I mean? So we're playing for the win. But Remzi ends up fighting an entire team over here. We got to help him out. Chuck the ult to the left side of that bubble to suck them out of that bubble, hopefully. And then I'm going to nade on my ult. That's why Horizon is so good. And we see that Remzi got stuck by an arc start. Whatever happened to him, he is about to go down. So this needs to be a clutch scenario right here. That Horizon ult plus the grenades is a Horizon's wet dream. I'm telling you right now, the damage right there was amazing. And we got the counter knock when Remzi went down. He's got a self-res on him. Should have switched to the wingman right here. I will admit, bad play on my part. Should have definitely switched to the wingman. We would have got the knock. End up cleaning up the last guy. And we are in a good spot again because everybody's up. Except we're getting charge rifle. There's another third party coming. Now, when this third party comes, Lurksy's very low, Remzi's very low. We got to reset. We decide to slide down the hill a little bit. But we're not running away. Trust me, we are looking to take this fight again. I'm going to look to swing to the left, get a little cover. These guys end up portaling over to the left, and I feel like they're running away because there is actually another team on the top of this hill. So this is a part of the game where everybody's engaging with each other. Unfortunately, Lurksy goes down right there, and we're in a very bad situation. Trying to fall away, take some shots, but we're gonna have to go get him up. We're getting guys. We're getting charge rifled from the catwalk over here. There's a team behind us to the south. There's a team behind us to the southeast. There is 3 different teams around us. We decide to reset. We're gonna go get his banner, and then we'll reassess the situation later on once we have an entire squad. because you don't want to be looking to take fights when it's a 2v3. Obviously, you don't have your full team up. If there's a beacon nearby, go get him up, reset, let him get his loot, and then you can engage in more fights. All right, so once we end up getting his loot back, we rotated underneath this team that was on the catwalk, and just little zipline fake to see if they'd peek. They did peek. They're aware that we're here. So what do we do in this scenario? We're just playing it a little bit slow. We're waiting to see what these guys do. We want that scan for the beacon, but it's at the point in the game where it's a little late, so we know where the end zone's going anyways. It's not that big of a deal. Earlier on in the game, we probably would have pushed this, although they do have height. So it's a little risky, but that beacon is huge. You do want that beacon if possible. They end up Valk ulting earlier than they should have, in my opinion. They should have kept us down low. We end up taking height, taking some shots at these guys. No, if I hit beacon here. Almost got that guy downed. End up actually downing that guy. So, I mean, in my mind, in Lurksy's mind, Remzi's mind, we're all looking to push this. Although this isn't really the greatest push on Earth. There's still a team to our right. Multiple teams to our right. So we got to play it very carefully here. But I'm just looking to peek an angle. I'm playing as Horizon. I can get out if I use my lift. But I'm going to pull back to the squad right here. So you guys heard that. There was a team above us. That sound was a beacon scan. I know I was a little bit late here. Our whole team is forced into this tunnel. And there is going to be a team behind us that actually makes a huge mistake here. So the team up top knows the final location, even though it's not too far away. We obviously can see it in sight. We're playing it a little slow down underneath here. Toss a little shield out. We can take a peek. That's why Newcastle is actually clutch. Definitely would recommend playing Newcastle. So this guy is going to drop on me and Lurksy while we're taking a look at the back here. We thought the whole team was going to be dropping. And also, I don't know why they didn't just play above us. Would have been a much smarter move. This guy drops in the open. It's 3-tapped with the wingman. Mustard Jones is down. I'm going to instantly lift up, and I'm calling this out to the team. I want to make that very clear. I'm saying take the lift, take the lift, take the lift, because we got one guy down. We don't want to be on low ground anymore. It makes absolutely no sense that we're playing below these guys. So we're going to lift up on the horizon. Get some good shots off on that guy. We got 2 people down right now. And then I fall back underneath. There was a miscommunication with my teammates there, which was on me. I'm pretty sure they wanted to stay up top, which was a good play. I figured there was one guy down low, so it's in a 1v1 scenario right now. I gotta win this. Hit the jumping PK for 82. Slide in, 18, 72. And we luckily come out on top. I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if I ended up going down there. But like I said earlier, you never want anybody on the team to go down because it can force third parties to, push you harder than they normally would. Luckily, we end up winning that. You saw my teammate jump to the front right there, just in case I had went down. But I definitely should have stayed up top. We should have let that guy solo rat on the bottom. Not a big deal, though. So now we're in a situation, 4 squads remaining. We got more than enough KP to, feed the whole family at dinner time. But we're looking for this win. We're not satisfied at all. We got a Volt in hand, and I'm going to keep the wingman. Peacekeeper actually might have been the play because I know it's going to get close range, maybe the Peacekeeper, but I do like having the wingman for very long range, and I can get some nice, easy headshots with the wingman, so that's why I ended up keeping it. So in this situation, you can see that we are playing the edge of zone. That is good. You don't want to be in the very center of zone because you're going to get pushed out by the other teams, since there is 4 squads remaining in this scenario. We got Remzi playing very close to me underneath so that we have cover from the shield, and then we have Lurksy up top because he's the Valkyrie. He can get down and get up there again very quickly. That's just going to give us intel on what the other teams are doing, and that's going to be huge in the final zones. But like I said, we want to hold the edge of zone here where there's a little bit of height. We don't want to push out into the middle because that's where all the other teams are going to be rotating in from this side. So we're taking a very hard look at these guys on the left of us because we don't want them to push down into us. So we're looking to take shots and hopefully force them to the right rather than into us. And while this is going on, I'm going to hear a guy coming behind us to the northwest, and I call that out to my team instantly. I figure once they have some cover fire on me, I'm going to push over and get this guy out of the game because I don't want him ruining the game later on. Call that out to my team. Little 31 damage, and me and Lurksy decide to push him at the same time. And there we go. Now there's 2 squads remaining. It's a 1v1 or a squad v squad. So you guys saw that Remzi just ulted right there. That was actually a beautiful ult, because if you can see the ring right here, look where he pushed up to. He pushed up to almost middle of the zone. We know this zone is closing right where this line ends. So we are very close and very in a better spot than this other team is, because they have to rotate all the way down to us. Gives us a definite advantage with Newcastle's ult. That's a lot of cover in the open. So that was a beautiful ult. Some good shots on that horizon right here. We're looking to get a nice knock before we end up pushing. End up throwing a terrible little lift. We end up sucking these guys off. Not like that. Anyways, they throw a good bubble. I will give it to them. And then I'm looking for angles on the left side. A nade that comes down. We want to stay away from that. And we're going to swing on the right side of this. I don't mean to pause it right in the middle. I'll let it play in a second. But I'm swinging to the right side with my teammate, because I don't want them to all swing and focus him out. Some decent shots. Playing the shield. We got a knock. The primary knock is huge. And then we just had a self-res to finish off the game. Now, I do want to go back very quickly to analyze that last situation. So right here, once the nade is coming down, you know, obviously I don't want to take damage to that. Like I said, I swung to the right to help my teammate get some shots here. I'm going for the reload, and I hit the battery quickly. The reason that I canceled that is because I saw Lurksy get the knock, and I want to help out these guys. I don't want to be taking it back. Even though I have no shields right here, it's better for me to push with the team and have an extra body in this situation than, you know, shield batting up in the back, and it's a 2v2. I want it to be a 3v2 in our favor, so that's why I push up. And I'm getting a lot of damage off on the Gibby, which allows Remzi to get that knock. And then, like I said, we just have the self-res going down at the end. So there's a full entire game played out for you guys. Hopefully this helps you gain RP in Season 13, the first split at least. I'll do an updated little guide thing on World's Edge, because I know that's going to be very sweaty. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Peace out.